News got trolled by a site that is not a news organization, and maybe you should check your sources. So let me give you the details. This all started with an account on Twitter known as Ballsack Sports. Now, Ballsack Sports puts out all sorts of satirical stuff. One of the examples that actually ended up getting Fox into a little bit of trouble had to do with LeBron James and a fake quote. So let's get to that fake quote. This is what the tweet said. Former NBA player Josh Smith says LeBron wouldn't be as dominant in his era. And then there's a fake quote attributed to Josh Smith where he allegedly says, it's a different game back then, much more physical. I don't think he has the jump shot or the skills to really consistently dominate defenses than as he does today. There's so much spacing in today's game. We had 2 to 3 guys on a star player any given night. Nothing was easy. And then it says underneath that, Josh Smith on LeBron translating to the 2000s. Okay, so the reason why you should, if you know anything about sports or follow basketball, like obviously red flag number 1 is the source is Ballsack Sports. But then there's also the second part, which is Josh Smith is not like some OG in the NBA. In fact, Josh Smith was actually drafted the year after LeBron. Okay, LeBron was drafted in 2003. Josh Smith was drafted in 2004. So it was nonsense. It's just like this Ballsack Sports Twitter account trolling people, doing satire, whatever it is.
I mean, they've broken a lot of good stories, I don't know. I think that they thought it was Barstool, maybe. I mean, that is, I think, the number 2 reason why they were willing to run with the story. But we can talk about number 1 after your explanation.
They've had other tweets, including this claim that Steph Curry can bench 4 plates, which, come on.
I mean, maybe he can, I don't know. He looks strong.
That's 400 pounds, 405 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Who can't?
Sure,
Anyway,
okay, yeah. I mean, you are looking quite swole, Sean, so I'm not surprised.
I patterned myself after Steph Curry, actually. When I went to their Twitter account this morning, one of the most recent tweets was, banana pudding is the best food. That was the whole tweet from, I don't know who their source was, let alone if they had 2 sources.
That's the most accurate thing they've tweeted.
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
And I make a mean banana pudding, so it.
Good spacing on her bananas in the pudding.
Exactly,
it's very physical.
Now, this is where the story gets good, right? Because Fox News ended up taking the lead from this guy who unfortunately fell for this satirical Twitter account. Gary Sheffield is his name. And so he responded to it by saying, it's called jealousy. Want me to prove it? That early 2000s NBA Smith alludes to that didn't have as much space as today's game is largely because of players like Josh Smith lacking skill. And let's not forget, Josh Smith just said back then. That implies he played in an era prior to LeBron James. That'd be false. Smith was drafted in 2004, otherwise known as the year after LeBron James. And so based on that, Fox News decided to put out its own story on this.
Why do you think?
I don't know, and I don't care. I'm actually, why is this, even if this was a legit tweet from a legit news organization, why, who cares?
Because they're throwing shade, it must be discussed.
Oh yeah, that's right, throwing shade is a big event in America.
No, the reason they're doing this is because it was about LeBron James and Fox News absolutely despises him. And so they'll accept any made up quote that allows them to criticize him.
That's right, that's a really good point. I'm just trying to visualize, what would it look like visually to throw shade? Would it be an aggressive throw? Would it be a light throw?
It would be like a desperate jump shot right at the buzzer. I don't know. My favorite part of this story, other than all of it, is so at various points, we have TYT Sports on the network.
We do.
At various points, Rick has had to launch new shows or new segments. And so frequently he will ask people, here are some names I've considered. I would bet every dollar I have that Ballsack Sports has been one of the things on that list. Because a lot of them, I don't know, have you ever gotten one of his text messages about different names? Ball features heavily in a lot of those titles.
I bet.
I think
ball
he feels
sacks are real things in sports. You need to put the balls in a sack.
Well, it's for the protection of both the balls themselves and also if they were to travel out, they could injure someone else.
That's correct. You always want to maintain the integrity of the ball sack because you want to maintain a safe space for the balls. This is an important point in sports that never gets talked about.
Exactly.
Corporate media always ignores stories about the importance of the integrity of the ball sack.
When you said that at the beginning of this show, you really liked the second hour, you were just talking about this, weren't you? You didn't care about any of that other stuff.
I think that you guys are being super immature. I know that ball sack sounds like we're talking about testes, but that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like literal ball sacks for, for balls. Now with that said, I did want to just quickly go to the content that Fox News immediately put up, which they have since taken down. Here's an example, graphic 4. Former NBA player Josh Smith says LeBron James wouldn't have been able to dominate in his era. They're smart.
They just want to put up something critical of LeBron James. That's all it is.
It's so good.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.